What is up, outside the cage fans? Welcome to the UFC 305 Adesanya and Dricus Duplessis preview show. What a week! What a week! Excited to get this card started off. We were talking a little bit before this how we were just kind of saying it's been a quiet fight week, but quiet in a good way. Like every fight's still on. There's no drama. We're just gonna go in there and fight, just like you said. A lot of professionals, man, and I'm fucking excited.
I'm so excited, bro. This one's been building a lot. Like 305 wasn't a card that I was looking at 3 or 4 months ago and I had it circled on my calendar. I can't lie. But the last couple of weeks, dude, I've been getting so excited for this one. I think every fight on the main card has potential to be a banger as long as Gamrot doesn't have his way, but we'll get into that. I want to read off a little Instagram post from our first ever fighter guest, Anton the Professor Zafir. Y'all may remember him from back in the day, former UFC fighter out of Australia. Super cool dude. And so he posted a picture of this card, and he was getting a little emotional with it. I feel like, I don't know, I can't speak for him, but he said, this is one of the best Anzac cards to date. If we had Jack Dela, Whitaker, Volk, and Matthews, this would have gone down as the greatest card in Anzac history. This is literally one of the greatest eras for Australian and New Zealand combat athletes, and it's incredible to watch the old and new generation of Aussie athletes stepping up to the big leagues. 10 years ago, we would have been lucky to have a few Aussie athletes. Now we have some of the best combat athletes in the world. Can't wait to see what the new breed of martial arts can achieve. Standing on the shoulders of the past pioneers to take it to the whole new level. And then at the end he put, Tom Nolan is a stud. Reckon he's going to make some more statements this weekend. I don't know, I just thought it was cool. It got me a little fired up. I was reading it on the way home from work today.
Yeah, dude, it's a great time for them. It's a great time for the UFC. I mean, we don't have much more classier and world-class guys than anyone on this card. I mean, you look at Dan Hooker and Gamrot. Gamrot's a technician. He's one of the most technical fighters in the UFC. You look at Dan Hooker, nothing needs to be explained. He's fucking one of the toughest guys to come around here in a long time, super skilled. You look at the Leech, true veteran, going up against the up-and-coming Carlos Prates. And then you look at, man, Kaikara versus Steve Erceg, a super big fight in the flyweight division. Super big fight. You got two New Zealand fighters, and both with a chance to go and make a name for themselves and put themselves back in title contention. That one's big, dude. That's not. I mean, I understand Dricus and Izzy is big. That's my favorite fight on the card too. But not a lot of people are talking about this Kai Kara-France Steve Erceg fight. It's a really big fight.
Huge, bro. I think it's a semifinal for a title eliminator. We'll get into that, but yeah, it's a big one. Especially with both guys being from the area, the crowd might be the loudest during that fight for some of it.
Yeah, it's I'm getting in the feels of this card. I haven't had this feeling in a while. I'm getting the feels back in me here.
Hard not to get emotional, man. Especially, it's kind of, you're on the attack again. CKB, they were on the top for so long. They were the guys everyone was chasing. As Izzy always said, they were the hunted. But now, kind of feels like they're the hunters again. Hooker coming off a long layoff. Izzy coming off of a long layoff for Izzy standards, not for anyone else. Kai Kara kind of had a tough go of it lately, but let's see if CKB can right the ship and get back on top this weekend.
Yeah, and I don't know how they look at it, man. I don't know if they look at it as like taking it personal, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but it's that gym feels different right now. So I'm excited.
Yeah, they just got to be feeling like they're all in war mode, dude, having that many guys, and then the Contender Series guys too. We'll be getting into that, you best believe. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So first fight of the night, man, kind of a tale of two different stories here going into this one. So Li Jingliang, the Leech, he had some hype a while back, but the last time he fought was UFC 279, which was the infamous card where everything got flipped around. It was supposed to be Diaz, Hamzat, and the Leech versus D-Rod, I believe. And then everything got flip-flopped. Kevin Holland ended up fighting Hamzat, Nate Diaz versus Tony, the Leech versus D-Rod, I believe. And then the Leech got robbed in that fight too. And he didn't get to wear his suit at the press conference. Remember, it was on embedded, got tailored for it, was literally walking out. And then they told him, turn around. No. And then they rob him on that same card. And then He was supposed to fight on UFC 287 versus Michael Chiesa, but I believe it got canceled. I believe it was the Leech that had to pull out due to injury. And now he gets a tough draw versus the scorching hot Carlos Prates. Not fresh out of the Contender Series, but kind of. He's been making a big name for himself. What's your analysis on this one here?
It's tough, man. You look at this tail of the tape. I mean, it's one of those classic up and coming guys versus the veteran that's trying to stay afloat. So it can go either way, man. I will say it. I don't think Carlos Prates can finish him early as he does all these other guys. I kind of maybe see it going to middle of round 2. But I mean, they're giving Carlos Prates a lot of hype. He's getting a lot of TV time on Embedded. So a big win here. He's in conversations. I mean, you look at that welterweight division, it's kind of up for grabs right now. As far as up and coming guys, we kind of got the same 3-4 guys there. Then other than that, we don't really have anybody. So
yeah, like guys shooting up the rankings.
Yeah, so Carlos Prates, he's one big win away here, and it's definitely a stage to do it here. He gets a main card test versus a true veteran. A big win here if he gets a win. So I'm excited for this one. I think Carlos Prates gets it done. I mean, he could finish the Leech. I'm not saying he can't finish him, but I think that I can see it going to deep waters. And I don't know who that benefits. I mean, obviously we haven't seen Carlos Prates go into round 3, but if it does, I mean, you have to favor the Leech at that point.
Yeah, just the experience and we've seen the Leech there before, and he can obviously fight in the 3rd round. Dude, so Carlos Prates fought on the Contender Series of August 29th, 2023, so less than a year ago. And counting that, he's had 3 KOs. So if he were to get a knockout win versus the Leech, that would be 4 knockouts in a calendar year for Carlos Prates.
Yeah.
That is how you get your name on the map. I mean, he was a year ago, he was getting ready to fight on the Contender Series. And now he's getting ready to open up the main card on a big pay-per-view. And he's not even a hometown guy. Brazil and China. That's impressive to get on an Australian main card, you know, being from Brazil and China. So
yeah,
pretty sick, man. I've got to go with Prates here.
He could have a future star in the making here.
Mm-hmm. And usually when the UFC does have these future stars, they know it when they know what they're doing with the matchups they give them. So it's kind of another reason I like Prates. I don't really like any of these lines enough to bet on him because, like you said, if it goes into later rounds, that might favor the Leech. And then KO for minus 125, no thank you. Because, like you said, we're not positive if he can finish the Leech yet. So I'll probably just be throwing Prates in some parlays.
Yeah, I think you throw him in some parlays. I think the bet here, if anything, is maybe under 1.5 plus 140. I like over 1.5, but not for that price. And then I'm never going to lay minus money for a method. So yeah, I think the only plus money there is probably under 1.5 that I would like.
That's kind of a bar. Never lay minus money for a method.
This one's big. We have Martellus Gamrot versus Dan the Hangman Hooker, making his comeback from the last time we saw him live at International Fight Week in Vegas in the battle versus Jalen Turner. And then Gamrot. Big one here, man. We got Dan Hooker plus 65, Gamrot minus 350. This feels like one of the ones where Hooker has no business winning, but he finds a way to get a win.
Dude, I think Hooker has some business, man. I can't lie. I mean, in Gamrot's last 2 fights, he got dropped by RDA and Jalen Turner. And even though it didn't really affect him later on in the fight, I heard Dan Hooker say something that was very insightful in my opinion. He said, whenever Turner or RDA rocked Gamrot, Gamrot just kind of drew him into chaos and just made it a crazy fight. But Hooker is calm in that chaos. That is where he thrives. So I don't think he's really going to be able to, I don't think Gamrot's going to be able to get Hooker, you know, off of his game plan necessarily. I think Gamrot's obvious plan here is to just take him down, grab him, and lay on him for 3 rounds and have it be a boring fight. That's how Gamrot wins fights, unfortunately. I'm going Dan the Hangman Hooker here.
Yeah, I'm all over Hooker here for the value too, man. I like Hooker a lot here.
That's not the one we wanted. There we go.
We got Hooker plus 265. I'm all over that. Similar age. I like the time off for Hooker. I know he was kind of hurt, but I like that he took some time off. Again, this gym feels different. It's the first time in a while they don't have a champion. Volk lost his belt. Obviously, Izzy lost his belt. Kaikara France kind of on a losing streak. I think this gym has a lot to prove here, man. I really do, and it feels like a different type of hunger. Like you said, they were the hunted. Now they're kind of being the hunters. Like there's a lot of motivation in that gym right now. A lot of people were saying Hooker's done. A lot of people were saying Izzy can't get his belt back. Volk's not going to be the same. Kaikara can't get back to how he was. They got the guys up and coming on the Contender Series that are hungry to get a shot. It feels different in that gym right now, man, and that's why I'm all over these guys. I'm all over them. I love I love how they look in the gym. I love the motivation, and I just think that it's a different mindset now. I think I don't think they got comfortable, but they just got so used to winning. And when you get used to winning, there's a little bit of complacency that comes with that. But complacency kills future success, and I think that when you saw the way Izzy took his loss, the way Volk took his loss, they're back in the gym and they're hungry, man. So I'm all over CKB. So we're rocking with CKB, baby.
Hell yeah! And this got to be our official dog of the day, right?
Yeah.
Dan the Hangman Hooker, bro. If he knocks Gamrot out, that
Dog
crowd
Dan.
will be one of the loudest crowds in UFC history.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, dude. And lightweight, it's honestly, everyone's always thought, it has been the murderer's row, lightweight, but it's kind of opening up right now when you look at the rankings a little bit. So I'm going to go off. You can still see me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on another tab, but Islam's the champ, might be hurt, might have to do an interim. Charles, number 2, and this is on Tapology ranking, so it might not be the exact same as the UFC, but number 2, coming off a loss, though. Armin Sarayukian at 3, getting the next title shot or interim. And then Gamrot in there at 4, followed by Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Fiziev, who are all either coming off a loss, they're all coming off a loss, and Beneil. So 5 through 8 coming off a loss. And Gamrot's at 4. So
I mean, you have to assume if Hooker gets a big win versus Gamrot, he's top 5, top 6.
Bro, I mean, the winner of this could get the interim title shot if they end up making one.
Yeah.
It could be, dude. And Hooker had a bar. He said, Gamrot wants my name and I want the number by his name. Which is so true because, Gamrot, he wants to beat Dan Hooker, put that on his resume because that's a great name to have. Because, I mean, he beat RDA, but it was an older RDA. So this would really be that, great win for him. And then for Hooker, if he beats the number 4 guy at lightweight, bro, I would throw him in there in an interim.
Yeah, that's big, dude. A lot at stake here.
But I guess what's tough is we've already seen Hooker and Islam fight. So if Hooker did get the interim belt, shit, I mean, he didn't have Volk scouting report on him back then either, though.
Yeah, that's true.
What about odds here? Just got to go Hooker money line, right?
You just take Hooker money line. Yeah, over 2.5. I think it does go over, and that's why I kind of like Hooker here too. I think it goes to decision. And again, like you said, unless Gamrot just lays on him, I think if it's a close fight, you just take the plus money and roll the dice. Look at -240 to go the distance. So they're telling you it's going to go the distance. Dan Hooker wins these weird decisions, bro.
Yeah, he does, dude. And I mean, I heard Hooker in that same interview. He said, say Gamrot has been holding me down the whole time, but I get up with a minute left. That's exactly where I want to be. His arms are all tired from squeezing the whole time. And then Hooker can just tee off on him. So don't be surprised if right after a grappling exchange, we see Hooker just unleash a combo on Gamrot.
Yeah.
That's my shot I'm calling on this fight.
Let's go, baby.
Oh, man, this is just a really good card, bro. Just professionals, just great fighters, professionals, not a whole lot of talking or drama or anything like that. Man, I messed up on our graphics tonight. All right, here we go.
It's all good. We could talk quick about the Tai Tuivasa and Biggie Boy fight if you want to.
Yeah, let's do that.
Tai Tuivasa coming off 4 straight losses. Jairzinho coming off a big knockout win. 2-3 in his last 5. kind of feels like both these guys obviously really need this fight. I don't know. I think Bam could knock him out. I think Jairzinho's too good to get slept that early. I don't know. It kind of just looks like a Jairzinho tires out and Bam knocks him out. I mean, Bam tires out and Jairzinho knocks him out.
Yeah. Either, yeah, that could be the case here, dude. They both got to be going for it, right? Or at least Bam Bam. Biggie Boy might be a little more technical in there. But
I don't
you
know,
look at,
dude. I'm kind of leaning towards Bam here.
yeah, I just think, I mean, Biggie Boy, he got the good win over Gaziev. He made Gaziev look really bad, and then Gaziev went out in his next fight, and he didn't beat anyone great, but he beat Dontel Mays. So yeah, nothing impressive there. But his losses are to Yeltsin Almeida, Alexander Volkov, and Curtis Blades. So a little bit of overlap with Bam Bam on the losses, but I feel like that's a little bit better than Tybura, Volkov. I don't know. They've both been losing to good heavyweights, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just, what do you think, Bam? Like, it just depends on how you view this first 5 minutes of the fight, because either it's kind of like how I saw the Cyril Gane and Bam fight. Like, I think either one just wins by knockout, because I think either obviously Bam knocks him out because that's how Bam wins, or Cyril Gane knocks him out because Bam's just tired.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
So I think it's kind of like one of these same things, is like they're just going to get in there, and I think Jairzinho is going to try and be technical and try to let the fight come to him, but obviously Bam brings the fight. So it's either Bam's going to catch him or Jairzinho is going to catch him. It's really what it is.
It's classic.
I mean, I think if you're going to bet Bam money line, for anyone, I know I'm kind of going against what I say here, but if you're going to bet Bam money line for anyone that's watching this, you kind of just take him plus 240 for knockout, because he's not going to win a decision.
It's kind of like a Derek Lewis vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why they only have it 60 points apart, probably.
Yeah.
Dude, remember when Bam knocked out Greg Hardy on the Conor card?
Yeah.
That was so electric. That was the Sugar Matinho night too, right? The broken leg. That was a special night, dude. I remember that. That was just a crazy card, crazy atmosphere. All right. Should we get into this co-main now? This
one's big, man. I know.
So shout out to the flyweight. My bad. Shout out to the flyweight division, dude. Y'all have made a big comeback. It was unanimous that flyweight was the worst division in the men's UFC for a while, but I don't even know if you could say that anymore. I take flyweight over heavyweight right now with what's been going on.
Yeah, I think there's been bigger fights.
I mean, Pantoja's defended the belt three times since last July, counting the Moreno fight, versus heavyweight hasn't been defended once since then. Just the interims.
I think the heavyweight title fights as a whole are big, but other than that, like we don't know their title eliminators. Their other fights on this card aren't that big, but the flyweights, they've had some big title eliminators, some big semifinal fights that are big. This one's huge, bro. This is a huge fight. Dude, high level masterclass fight here.
All right, there we go. I don't know what is wrong with me today, man. My head's been all over the place, but yeah.
You're good. Kaikara France, Steve Urseg. I'm gonna come out and say it, man. I know I'm been high on CKB, but I like Steve Urseg here, man. I think that he's just, at this point, he's better. He's high level. He showed how high level he is versus Pantoja. I think he's the second best flyweight in the world. So I think that he got thrown a shot when no one expected him to do anything, and he took advantage of it. He had nothing to lose. I don't think he was ready quite yet, but I think he's going to show that he's on another level, and I think it's Pantoja, Urseg, than everyone else. So I'm high on Urseg here. I think Urseg gets it done.
Dude, I mean, it's hard to argue with that, because Urseg, he might have lost his last fight, but that's got to give him so much confidence. It was his third or fourth fight in the UFC, and he went 5 rounds with the champ, and a lot of people thought he won. And if he didn't shoot for that takedown in the 5th round, he probably would have won. Compared to Kai Kara France, who's been on a long layoff. His last His last win was in 2022 versus Askarov, which was a really good win. And I'll count his win versus Amir Albazi because that was one of the worst robberies of all of 2023 last year. That was a terrible one. I remember being really mad when they read off those scorecards. Like usually I don't complain about robberies because like we say, if it's close enough, it's 3 people, 3 rounds or 5 rounds, but this one was bad. I remember this one. And on top of that, so Kai Kara, he's lost his last 2, and then he had to pull out of UFC 284 and 293 due to injuries. So it's been a rough go for him lately. But he did have a kid, which always, it might be stupid, but in any sport, when somebody has a kid, especially their first, it seems like they get a boost. In baseball, they either hit a home run the next day. In football, they'll put up 30 fantasy points. In basketball, they'll go drop 40. So maybe Kai Kara goes out and just puts on a masterclass for his firstborn.
Yeah.
I don't know. But my heart tells me Kai, but my head tells me Steve Erceg.
Yeah. It's such a high level fight here, man. And I love both these guys. I truly do. I like both these guys. I'm not mad at either one that wins. I just think at this point in time, it's Erceg's time, and Erceg's better right now as we stand.
Yeah, and then you look at the height as well. But Kai Kara's got the reach.
Yeah. I just don't know much that Kai Kara can do to beat him that Erceg's not as good at or better than him at.
Yeah, like it feels like Kai Kara is just going to have to catch him and just knock him out kind of like that Cody Garbrandt fight where he was just hunting him. But then again, Cody Garbrandt's the same size as Kai Kara, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to get to Erceg's chin.
Yeah.
Dude, so hear me out for flyweight here. I kind of wrote out a little roadmap of what the flyweight division could look like after this. So we've got Tatsuro Taira and Brandon Royval fighting pretty soon. And then Pantoja's title bout is going to be announced very soon. And there's no one really in the flyweight division that I think it could be right now. So it has to be Kai Asakura. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name, but he's the guy coming over from Ryzen. Very highly touted. I think he was a bantamweight over there, but he's coming in at
flyweight right away.
Yeah, he was a guy over there. He was like the top dog. I think the UFC had wanted him for a little while now, and he's young too. So I think he gets the title shot right off the rip, which is kind of crazy, but
yeah. I mean, it's not crazy, bro. We've seen Erceg get a shot. No one really knew who he was.
Yeah, and this guy's way more established than Erceg was coming into the UFC, I would say. So I'm thinking the winner of this fight fights the winner of Tatsuro Taira and Brandon Royval in a title eliminator. And then the winner of that fight gets the winner of Pantoja versus Kai Asakura.
Okay. I like it. You don't think by any chance the winner of this gets the title shot?
Maybe, but with
they're waiting to see who wins, and they're going to announce it right away.
It's just tough because they're both coming off a loss.
Yeah, but I think you kind of look at Erceg's loss close enough. He gets another shot. I know he didn't have the belt, but a lot of people said he won it. If he gets a big win versus Kai Kara, I don't think anyone's mad at that.
Yeah, I just don't know if these guys. I don't know if they pass up Tatsuro Taira, especially if he gets a win versus Royval. I think he's done everything necessary because that would be his 3rd or 4th win since we saw him on International Fight Week, I believe. So yeah. I think Tatsuro's on the inside track right now. If they were to not go title eliminator with the winner of these 2 fights, I think Taira would be the one out of these 4 with the best shot of getting the next title opportunity.
Yeah.
But dude, it's sick talking flyweight like this, man. And then we've got Charles Johnson climbing the ranks too. He was out in Hawaii training with Max.
Yeah.
Is it time?
It's time, baby. For the main event of the evening. Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title. Wow. I didn't think we'd get here, man. There was talk after the Strickland fight. He was going to take, I think he said 7 years off. It was just, I didn't think it'd be this quick, but we're here, we're back. And I didn't think it'd be Dricus. I thought it'd be Strickland again. But God, man, a roller coaster that Izzy's been on the last couple of years with the whole Pereira rivalry, losing to Sean and then to get back here. It's crazy, man. I can't believe we get to watch this. And I think that as a fan of Izzy, I'm not just asking Izzy fans, I'm asking UFC fans as a whole. I think a lot of times we can take greatness for granted. So I just want to put a message out there that win or lose, like value this Izzy fight because I don't know how much we have left. So I just think you have to appreciate the greatness and watch for the greatness that is Israel Adesanya and everything he's meant to the sport and to this division. And he's, in my lifetime, obviously one of the top 3 to 4 UFC fighters that I've seen in my era, just for everything that he brought to the sport. So again, you obviously know who I'm rocking with, but I just wanted to get that out there that I think that we as fans need to appreciate what he's done. And when we watch this fight, watch it with and give him his flowers.
100%, dude. And even Izzy haters out there, I've hated on him at times. They hate on him because of things he might say or maybe point fighting in certain fights, but I never hated on him for that. But dude, he has been the most active fighter that I can remember. This is the longest layoff of his MMA or kickboxing career, and it's 11 months.
Yeah.
That's like an average layoff for Hamzat right now, or for a lot of guys, even like Islam or Ilia Topuria. It seems like they fight freaking once a year. So yeah, man, Izzy, he kept this division going. He's literally the model champion. If you were teaching a college class on how to be an honorable, great UFC champion and how to, keep your division rolling, you would want to do what Adesanya did, what Usman did, what Volk did. Those guys, man, it's just insane. They gave everybody a shot. They never turned anyone down. They just showed up to fight 2-3 times a year. And yeah, some of these champs now, it makes you take them for granted almost. Or it makes you realize you took them for granted.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where I stood, and that's why I kind of say this for the Strickland fight is like, obviously I love Izzy. I thought he was great. He's gave me a lot of moments in his career, emotional moments in his career. But his comments after the Strickland fight, how he's going to take so much time off, and I was like, damn, like if that was the last time I saw him fight, or the last time I saw him fight for 5 years, 3 years, like I didn't appreciate it enough. So I'm going to watch this fight, appreciating his greatness. Obviously, I hope he gets it done, but more so just appreciating it, man. Appreciating his walkout, appreciating the aura that he brings every single day. So I'm just grateful that he gets this opportunity again. I'm grateful we get to watch this again. One of those ones where I'm just lucky enough we get to watch this fight.
Exactly, dude. And just seeing one of the best strikers of all time going out there to do his thing, and especially against a guy like Dricus, because Dricus isn't going to point fight with him. He's going to give Izzy opportunities to knock him out. What am I doing, man? Here we go. Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. But yeah, I mean, Dricus literally, I've thought the least skilled and technical fighter in the top 10, top 5 in the middleweight division for the last 3 years. I've been fading him every time. And then on the contrary, you got Izzy, the most skilled, most technical fighter maybe of all time in the middleweight division, either him or Anderson Silva. So I'm going Izzy here, dude. I said it on our Tuesday show. I flipped over since last week, but I feel like I flipped over soon enough. And I don't think I bet Izzy by knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, dude.
Yeah, I kind of look at, and I think Dricus is good. I don't think we give Dricus enough credit for how good and skilled he is. But I kind of look at it as the Costa fight. Big, likes to pressure, and then Izzy just put him to sleep. So I can see that. The difference is like, again, Pereira pressured Izzy, and that caused Izzy problems. But we obviously know now Pereira's different breed, one of one. But he's also a great striker, a naturally gifted striker, and almost just as big as Izzy. So the pressure for him felt different. Now, if you're someone like Dricus, who's not that technical of a striker, not as tall as Izzy, and you're going to go in and you're going to pressure him, that doesn't end well.
Yeah, one fight I keep replaying in my head. You're going to like this one. Izzy Brunson. Even though Dricus isn't going to be as wrestling heavy, he still might try
I
to
could
wrestle
see
a
him
little.
resorting to it.
Yeah, if he's
I
just
mean, I
having,
think I want to say he landed 4 takedowns versus Strickland. I think he was like 4 for 6.
That's true. That is kind of when the fight started to change. After that one
Yeah.
elbow and then the takedowns kind of won him those rounds. Yeah, dude. Oh, this one's exciting.
Oh man.
If Dricus were to win, I mean, what's like the method that scares you the most? I guess that's a good way of putting it.
I think Drake is by knockout. I think his pressure gets to Izzy. It's the only way. I don't see him winning a decision. If it goes 5 rounds, I think it's because Izzy's picking him apart.
Yeah. Izzy might just I could just see Izzy just having a vintage performance where every time Dricus enters his space, he's getting hit, or every time Dricus throws, he's throwing out air and Izzy's already countering him.
I think like I look back to the last couple of big title fights. I look at Izzy and Strickland, and I look at most recently, I look at Bilal and Leon. We knew real early on. In the Izzy and Strickland fight, we knew real early on something wasn't right. Izzy looks a little slow. It just doesn't feel right. It feels like one of these trap games. And then you look at the Bilal and Leon fight, and Bilal got a takedown super early, and you're like, whoa, like he can do that. Like it's going to be a long night for Leon. So I think we'll know real early Dricus's game plan, how Izzy responds to that. And I also think people aren't giving enough credit to how good, like we talked about this before with someone on the podcast, like just because he's not wrestling dominant or grappling dominant doesn't mean he's not a good grappler.
I think it was the professor. He said he was the best grappler in MMA or one of them.
Because you can't take him down.
Yeah. It's like a big part of grappling is controlling where you want the fight to happen. And Izzy can do that as good as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, man, I think you have to look at it like this, man. If the Strickland, you can't say this, but if the Strickland fight never happens and this fight happens 6 months ago when it was supposed to, what is the line?
Similar to Strickland and Izzy, which was like,
yeah, I mean, I just don't. The only path that people have told me to seeing Dricus winning is they don't think Izzy's the same anymore. They haven't said, well, he's a better striker, he's going to take him down. All I've heard was you don't know if Izzy's the same. And that's a very reasonable take to have. I understand that. But if that's all you're relying on, I'll take Izzy as one more. I genuinely think it had nothing to do with father time. I genuinely just think, like Izzy said, I think it was just an off night.
And yeah, what did Izzy say about on his interview on Freestyle Bender? He said he used a good word, like he said it's just really like ugly what Dricus. It wasn't ugly, that's not the word he used, but he just makes it like really sloppy in there and kind of like drags people down to his level almost, and just makes it an ugly, non-technical barn burner. And obviously he's gonna thrive there because that's what he's best at. But I'll say the one thing that scares me about Dricus, dude, just his like natural power, I guess you could say. Like when he landed the jab on Whitaker, which Whitaker did kind of step into, I guess. But the guy, I think I said it on Tuesday, 1 or 2 of his shots has shown to do more damage than 3 or 4 that get landed on him. So I guess for me, the biggest fear is
it's the same thing they said with Costa. I just don't think that he can land those clean shots on Izzy.
Yeah, that's a very true point. Izzy is top 5 hardest to hit in the whole entire organization.
Yeah, exciting, man. What a line here, man. What a line. We got close to a pick 'em. Izzy was about a bigger favorite. A lot of money's coming in on Dricus, so interesting to see there.
That ain't bad for us.
Yeah.
Can you remember the last time Izzy was plus money?
These are the shortest odds of his UFC career.
Damn. So he's never been plus money in the UFC.
No. Always been a favorite, and this is the smallest favorite he's been.
Yeah, because even against Poatan, he was always like minus 150 or more.
Yeah.
That is insane, bro. They just know how good he is.
Yeah. You can look at it 2 ways, man. You can look at it like, okay, he's not the same because he lost to Strickland, or you can look at it as like, now we know what Poatan is, and he beat Poatan.
Knocked him out.
So, like, I mean, you can look at it. You can play devil's advocate to 2 different things, but obviously you go with a more recent one. But
Izzy did also say in a thing I was watching from him that like you could tell he wasn't like trying to make excuses. He was just kind of being honest. I guess it is an excuse, but he said that once his fight got changed from Dricus to Strickland, like there was kind of a shift in his energy. And you know, he's super big on the energy stuff. Um, but yeah, he said he kind of lost a little bit of the fire just because he was so fired up
Yeah,
to go out there and spark Dricus, and then it got changed to Strickland, and then like you'd kind of been saying that the whole time. He just wasn't up for it that night, I guess you could say.
yeah,
But he's up for this one, dude. With the electric shorts on, contender Izzy. Man,
yeah.
I'm excited, dude. I'm expecting to see a vintage Adesanya performance. I don't want to put that on him, but I'm expecting it.
Let's go, man. Can't
Hey,
fucking wait to see him walk out.
one fun question for you before we get out of here. Can you remember? Oh, we got your bets too. But before we get to that, can you remember one night or one Izzy fight in specific that you remember thinking that was the best version of him you saw? Because he had a lot of those fights where he looked almost perfect. Was there one that stood out to you even extra?
Cannonier.
Just because he shut him out?
Yeah, Cannonier. I thought he looked good versus Vittori. Um, I don't want to say. I mean, 4 rounds of the Pereira fight, the first one.
Yeah. Not Costa?
Yeah, you could say Costa. It was just sharp.
Yeah, I feel like the Costa and Brunson fights for me, those were the ones where I was the highest on Izzy. I was like, dude, this guy's not losing ever.
Yeah,
Dude, you see him throwing the spinning shit too during his open pad workout. My bad. We'll cut that out.
yeah.
we're getting simple. We're getting point fighter Izzy. That's what we want to put out there. Yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's make some money.
Here we go. Hopefully we do. I think that's the first fight of the night here. Let me see. I had some notes of why I like all these fights. Yeah, first fight of the night. Get your bankroll started off early. Stuart Nicole versus Jesus Aguilar, under 2.5 plus 120. Aguilar's last 2 out of his last 3 fights ended in the first round. And then Nicole, he's on a 5-fight win streak, or he's 8-0 actually, so he's undefeated. But he's on a 4-fight win streak of 2 rounds or less. Ooh. So he's making his UFC debut, home country. So I'm looking for him to come out and look to put away Aguilar early. And maybe Aguilar responds and they get it and it gets done either way. But that's what I like here. I like under 2.5. Get the crowd going early. Juice is flowing. And then I like this one a lot here. When I seen the plus 900, I jumped all over it. Song Kanon. He is fighting Ricky Glenn. Kanon's a big favorite, minus 190. Ricky Glenn has 2 submission losses. And Kanon has 9 submission wins. Now, his last submission win was in 2017. So it's been a minute since he's choked somebody out, but I like him I'll take a chance here. He gets a submission here. He has just as much submissions as he does knockout wins. So we'll go Kanon plus 900 to get a sub.
I like that a lot. I'm firing that one for sure.
And then we're going to go Jack Jenkins wins in round 2.
Ooh, I love the Herbert Burns fade. I love the Herbert Burns fade.
Herbert Burns, his last 3 fights, he's all lost in the second round.
Bro, he goes out.
He tends to be good enough to finish like the round and then just quits, and then he gets knocked down in round 2.
Goes 100% for the first 2 minutes, tries to get the sub, and if he doesn't, just gives up. Just makes it to the corner and then comes out the next round and he's done.
Hopefully it gets out of round 1, and then we look for Jack Jenkins in round 2 because he's a big favorite, minus 800. So they're saying he's going to win, so I think he wins in round 2. Hopefully he'll take that plus 250.
Yeah, I like Jenkins there for sure.
Luana Santos to win, minus 140 versus Casey O'Neill. I just think she's younger. She's better. She's on a huge win streak, obviously 8-1. Casey O'Neill coming off 2 straight losses and not very good ones, Jennifer Maia and De Silva. So I like the younger Brazilian, Luana Santos, to get it done here. And then we're going to take her by sub at plus 550. Her last win was sub. Half her wins are by submission. And Casey O'Neill's last loss was by submission. So maybe Santos watching some film, seeing how she can get a win and sees that and gets the sub.
Hello.
Yep. Then we're going to go Dan Hooker. We talked about it earlier to win. Nothing needs to be said. It's a barn burner. It's a grind. It goes to decision. Dan Hooker gets it done. Or Gamrot likes to lay on him for 2.5 rounds, 3 rounds, gets up, minute left, and Hooker goes to work and gets a knockout.
Come on. That would be one of the sickest wins ever if that happens.
And then we're going to go Urseg to win. Just all the reasons we talked about. Just think he's more technical and more skilled at this point of his career. I think Kaikara's had his run at the title, and I think it's Urseg's time now. I think he learned so much from that Pantoja fight, and I think he's just a whole other level. I think he's going to show that he's one of these ones in the flyweight division. So I think he gets a win and gets back in the title picture. And then we're going the man, the myth, the legend, Adesanya to get it done. Biggest bet of the night. We're risking 200 on that. Nothing needs to be said. And new, get the belt back. Call out Strickland, and let's fucking go, baby.
Oh, them $200 bets only come out when it's a special fighter.
Yeah. No, I think I've only ever done it on John, Sugar, and Adesanya.
Special fighters.
Top 3.
Yeah. Hello.
So, I like the parlay here. I haven't had a parlay in a minute. I like this one a lot, though. We're going to go Son Canon to win, Carlos Prates to win, Urseg to win, Santos to win, Adesanya to win. All win parlays, plus 896, 50 to win 448. Throw 100 on it, you win $900.
I like that. Dude, I'm liking all your bets a lot right now. I'm loving the field, or the table.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I feel Jack Jenkins round 2. Yeah. I can feel that. We just need a Herbert Burns masterclass.
Yeah. Be you, Herbert.
Be you. It's also kind of the card of brothers. We got Johnny Walker's brother fighting Junior Tafa. So 2 brothers right there. And then not brothers with each other, but they got brothers in the UFC. And then Herbert Burns, obviously he's got Gilbert. So kind of funny through some UFC stars brothers on the prelims.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess I'll be seeing you in less than 24 hours though, with a special episode for y'all.
You want to go ahead and announce that to the people?
Shit, yeah, dude. It's kind of scary announcing it. You know, this fight game's crazy. Things can always happen. But as of right now, outside the cage, we'll be interviewing a Dana White Contender Series fighter, Cameron Ralston, out of City Kickboxing, teammates with all the guys we were just talking about. He's fighting Torres Finney this Tuesday on the Contender Series for a spot in the UFC for that contract. We're going to have Cameron on our podcast just really quick for an interview, just to ask him some questions, see how he's feeling, pick his brain a little bit. And yeah, man, I haven't been this excited for something in a minute, dude. Let's go.
Yes, sir. We're going to try to start a series. We have a couple hopefully lined up Contender Series prospects coming on the pod, but going to kick things off with this one first, and hopefully we got more coming at you, but super excited for this. Thank you all for the support. We said it was going to be a big week, so hopefully tomorrow we can seal the deal.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you. Appreciate y'all. And we will see you tomorrow. Holy shit. Deuce.